thing you want to do, guys, is make sure your funnels are clean. You definitely don't want any debris being poured into your motor or transmission or whatever it might be. So basically what I'm doing right here, try to show you, is I'm running a paper towel all the way down through the length of my funnel, and pulling it right through. All right, making sure this thing is very clean. You do all that work and spend all that money, because this oil isn't cheap. The factory oil is like almost $80 for the amount that you need. And then I'm actually using AMSOIL. I decided to go back with that. I've heard really good stuff about AMSOIL. AMSOIL's been around for a very long time. And so there's people out there that swear by this stuff, so this will be the first time I've used it, to the best of my knowledge anyway. I never went and bought any, but I got this sitting up on top of the intake right now, or intake cover I should say. Trying to give you the best view as I can. This is what I got. AMSOIL 100% synthetic OE automatic transmission fluid. And when I looked in my owner's manual, I looked up the specs for it, and this has those same exact specs that it calls for. So if you see right there, it says we're at Hyundai Kia in the SP4, SPH 4, and the SP4RR. And I believe mine was the SP4, I believe it was. So I've got exactly what I need. What is the sun beaming me right in the eyes? So I can see down there, I can see my my fill plug. So when it starts to get to that point, it starts oozing out, I'll be able to see it and I'll know when to stop. What I will probably do is I'll probably put the plug in and then put a little bit more in after that, kind of like you do a rear end. You fill it up till it oozes out, you put the plug in, you squeeze a couple shots more in there, and you're good to go. So here's the brand new oil. That's how red it is. All right. Wiped it on the paper towel. That's almost as how red it was when it came out of the transmission. Which I expected it to be a little bit darker. I am a lead foot. And like I said, I do shift this transmission. It's got one of those I guess you like to call them manual-matic. It's an automatic with a manual mode in it. And I like using it a lot. And I do keep this car in the RPMs quite a bit. And I expected that oil to be a little darker. And it was not, so we're in great shape. Alright, here we go. Now, some of the videos that I watched on people doing this, they said you need to pour it slowly, because if you fill the funnel up too much, it's just going to glug as the air pockets or air starts to come up through. it'll splash a little bit if we're not careful with it. So I'm just going to take my time and I'm going to pour it slowly. Well, I'm making a little bit of a mess. Alright, we'll clean it all up when we're done. I got a gallon of this stuff. I hope it's enough. Kind of figured I'd get like 3 or 4 quarts out of it. So we'll see what happens. I've poured about 2.5 in it so far. So I'm going to do a quick check on some things. Make sure we're still good. Looks like we are, but I'll stoop down here and take a look. We might be getting close. Yeah, we might be getting close. Oh, there we go. Starting to come out now. Be prepared to have to fumble with that a little bit. There's a lot of people out there that would say you should never change your transmission fluid. Again, I'm 50 years old, and every vehicle I've ever owned, I've changed the transmission fluid in. And I keep all my vehicles. All my vehicles are 20-year vehicles. You know, I don't trade them in every 5 years or something like that. And some vehicles I've kept long enough to have to do timing chains on. So, but, I'm a believer in transmission oil changes. It's never let me down. You just have to, you know, take note. You know, is my transmission having any issues? Is my transmission shifting properly? Is my transmission slipping, or is my transmission overheating? You have to ask yourself those kinds of questions. And if you have any of those problems, it's probably not a good idea to change your oil. But when your transmission is running perfectly fine, like it did off the showroom floor, then there's no reason why you shouldn't want to change your oil in your transmission. Especially if you do a lot of towing or something like that. You want to make sure you do that on a regular basis. That transmission is going through a lot of heat cycles. It's doing a lot of work that it normally wouldn't be doing if it was just driving around. So you're putting that oil through quite a bit. All right, so it looks like I have so far poured in, I guess, 4 quarts. I got just under a quart, and I mean just a hair under. So I'm going to take and I'm going to pour just a little bit more in there. Okay, poured that a little too fast. So I might have just poured a quarter of a quart in there, maybe, if that. And we should be good to go. Let this funnel drain a little bit. Made a little bit of a mess down there. All right, guys, there's my plug. It's back into place. You really don't need tools to reinstall that. You do not want to crank on it very much. It's a plastic cap or plug going into a plastic threads. If you crank on that too much, you're going to crack it, and then you'll have issues. Literally, I just threaded it all the way down with my hands, and that probably would have been enough because it's backed up with an O-ring, so it's not going anywhere. But then I just put my little extension on there, and I just give it the ever so slightest tweak. That's all I did. That's all it takes. Whatever you can do by hand, in most cases, is going to be enough. All right. As you can see, I got a little bit of mess to clean up down here. Took my air box back out just to give me some more room. And we're almost done with this. Once we get done cleaning up a little bit, we'll fire it up. And we'll run it through the gears. See how everything sounds, see how everything wants to act. All right, so I took in, that was empty when I started. That was empty when I started. And now I got 4 liters even that I poured in there. So that's what came out of the transmission. And this jug here is just about 4 liters. Not quite. So I will probably have to dump the rest of that in the transmission also. So right now, let's clear some tools off. And yeah, it should start. This car don't have mass airflow, so it should start up without anything hooked up to it. The plug's in the bottom, tightened. Our plug's in the side and tightened, and our plug's in the top and it's tightened, and it wiped up pretty good. So we should be able to start it up and go through the gears anyway. All right, that's about the best I can probably do. Set you up on the floor over here. Probably tilt you down a little bit, would be my guess. All right. Hopefully you can see. Everything sounds fine so far. Reverse, neutral, drive. Feels good. It's going into gear quickly. Yep. It's not taking its time, it's going right in there. So shouldn't have any issues there. I can go up to second gear in manual mode for this car. Some vehicles let you go to third gear, like trucks. A lot of times they'll let you go to third. Alright, that should be good enough. Seems to be responding well when I do that, so I think we're good. We'll take another check of the transmission fluid level, and we'll go from there.